Hey, what's going on out there? Justice Severin from the original chapters, and today we are discussing belief shifting conversations. All right, this is a methodology that we preach heavily inside of our business, which really is going to allow you to really progress the conversations without getting ghosted here and there and not letting things drop off, allowing you to really transform that conversation there. So this is a live stream we did right inside of my free Facebook group, Original Chapters Marketing. Make sure you go ahead and jump in there, but at the very least, hit that subscribe button down below to make sure you're locked in for all of our future videos we got for you. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Let's go ahead and get straight to the value. You know me, I don't want to go ahead and mess around here and just talk. Let's not mess around with the stuff we don't need and get to the source here, right? So I'm seeing the likes and loves popping up. I love it here. Really, before we even get to that too, obviously, and of course, as always, go in the comments. Let me know if you're pumped as well. I'm not seeing any comments yet. Let me go ahead. Let me make sure here. Let me know if you guys are alive and can hear me. If I'm over here by myself, that's not a good sign either. I might have to double check over here. One second now. Oh, there it looks. Oh, perfect. I'm seeing lights coming in. Oh, I see. There we go, Paul. We got a sunny Thursday. Awesome. Yeah, let me know if you guys are here. If you're pumped for this right now. There we go. And really, a quick question before we jump in too. What's maybe right now you've got a setup going on right now. What's kind of your main issue with whether either it's getting qualified leads or handling those qualified leads right now in your business? I'm really curious as that as well there too. So as you're dropping comments, definitely let me know. And I want to go ahead and I'll always open this up to some Q&A at the end. But I want to make sure, like I said, we take time to really dive through the specifics, dive through what we need here and get this thing going, right? So really today we're breaking down, obviously, as you can tell here, you guys are, if you're new as well, we got our three core pillars here. And really the third one today is what we're hammering home on, right? That simplified conversion formula here, right? So really the other two, if you're unaware, discover your six-figure avatar and our supreme content messaging, right? So past that, we want to understand really, like I said, this is more on that conversion side. Once you get things rolling, how do you now go ahead and take advantage of that there? I'm seeing we got some people jump. I see Paul over there. We got Man. Oh, great. Mandy's first time here on the live. Love it. Mark, great to see you. Adam's on the edge of his seat. Let's get it rolling here. And Paul, thanks for sharing that too. I love that there. Let's give us some ammo as we get this thing rolling on this side too. So really, like I said, keep hitting those likes and loves as well. I want to make sure the rest of everybody can jump on here and we're making sure that we got everyone soaking in this good stuff here we got for you today. Because like I said, we want to go through and give you the core pieces you need and then action steps, right? Action steps really get going. So let me know in the comments if you guys are ready to get rocking. Let me see some let's goes or whatever the case may be. We're gonna get this party started. Come on, you already know. If you can't tell, I'm ready to go. So say the word. We're gonna make it move over here. To be honest, we had a busy week inside of the OGC here this week here. Some good stuff happening. Some great wins going on. Love to see it. Plenty of new faces here too. Edwin, great to see you over there too, man. So what's going on? And really, I want to make sure that with today, we keep that theme moving straight forward there, honestly. Like I said, getting straight to it there. So let me know in the comments you guys are ready to go. Hit those likes and loves. I'm seeing some stuff popping up. I can see clearly now that Facebook is rocking with us, so we're ready to go on this side. So oh, there we go. I see a let's go. Let's make it happen here. So first and foremost, when it comes to belief shifting conversations, right? I want to go ahead and preface this with the two places that I see are the most important conversations, period, right? The two places. One, it can be some kind of a direct one-to-one. I'm seeing some random text hitting me. Let me. I need to put this on silent right now. I don't need them disrupting my flow right here. There we go. So number one is any kind of direct conversation, right? Any kind of one-to-one. Me, as you know, I'm big on the Facebook side. So for me, any kind of Facebook DM situation. If you're on Instagram, any kind of messenger situation there. Any type of one-on-one messenger interaction, right? That is the first place. And number two is a sales call. Right? A strategy session, a clarity call, a triage call, whatever you want to call it, right? Those are the two places, just so we're starting off from the same place, from the same foundational point right there, right? So those are the number two conversations that I want you to keep in mind as we go through this, right? If that makes sense, comment makes sense below so I know we're on the same page here, right? So really, I want you to know that leading into this is applicable to both of those. So right now, and I hope that the way you're going through your strategy is most likely there's some kind of a conversation before you get to getting someone the sales call, before you get to some kind of a strategy session. Because for me, I'm a big believer, and I say this all the time. A lot of sales are not lost on the phone. They're not lost in the conversation. They're lost before that phone call even happens. before the proper groundwork hasn't been laid yet, right? So these are pieces that have to get dialed in order to increase that closing percentage there, right? Hopefully this is all making sense right there. I see you, man. He's saying, let's rock. I love it. Come on now. Let's get moving here. So for starters here, right? What not to do. I want to make sure we kind of cover this side too as well, because once we can cover this piece, now we're going to really realize things that you may be doing right now. And if you identify with this, my goal isn't for it to hurt you, it's for it to help you and inspire you to change and move it for the better, right? So number one here, let's talk about really get someone who's giving you energy and drop the ball, right? This is what you want to avoid right here. So many people, when it comes to messaging, you're talking to a lot of people. I hope if you're getting leads in consistently as you should be in your business, a lot of the times you're getting to a lot of conversations, but the problem is that you're not giving your energy to the right ones. I say this all the time, where all of a sudden people are spending 2 hours with somebody when in reality they're just a time vampire, somebody who's not genuinely interested, somebody who potentially wants to sell you on something. We need to go ahead and understand from the get-go that really we need to give our highest priority, our highest amount of energy to those who are giving us their energy back, right? And if you're wondering, like, what do I mean? How can I tell if that's the case? Like, just go back and look at your conversations. And if certain questions that you're asking them, and you better get really good at asking questions when it comes to this industry as well in the online space. If you start asking some of those initial questions and they're giving you good responses, giving you that energy back, like that's who we want to focus on, right? That's what we want to focus on, the ones who are giving us that energy there, right? Comment energy if you feel me on that side, right? If you're picking up what I'm putting down. If we're not putting our energy into the folks who are giving us their energy, it's a waste of time. And what I'm going to teach you right now and show you today is going to be out the window, because you're going to go ahead and put too much time and energy into it, and we need to make sure we're focused on those right prospects, on those right leads there. All right, let me know there. I'm seeing energy pop up in the comments, so it looks like we already want to go ahead. And I see Edwin saying, with those who already want to do business with you. So I'm seeing Edwin saying energy too. So I'm glad you're on the same point. Edwin Stewart, love it. Keep on hitting those likes and loves too. I love it there, guys. Keep it rolling. So what I will say to that piece is, in my eyes, with somebody who already wants to do business with you, to me at this point, they don't have to. They don't have to there. Really, with this here, the way that I want to see it is, because what I'm going to be teaching you guys as we progress in today's live stream is really how do we go ahead and progress the conversation to get them to that point, right? Because if somebody, the way that I see it, I'm not going to do the funnel symbol if you guys watched last week, but the way I picture it, it's a funnel, right? So I'm not talking about some kind of software, I'm not talking about ClickFunnels or GrooveFunnels, but imagine people coming into your world, they all start in a cold space, right? And our goal is to make them warm, right? Warm up those leads. So with that being said, a lot of people are talking to are cold. And now what we want to do is go ahead and get the people who are cold, find out and sift through the ones who are our cold leads, and stick and really understand which ones are giving us that energy, right? So at this point, they may not know if they want to do business with us. They may not know if we can even truly help them, but maybe you're getting the sense that to some degree deep down, they feel like you may have some value to give. They may feel like you have something to bring to the table that can help progress their business, right? So it's like we want to get them to that point there. So I love that you brought that up there, Edwin, just so we can all clear that space right there, right? So really, how are ways that we can go ahead too? Because what I'm mentioning there is the problem with that is now, I'm glad that we kind of broke that down actually. That really gets us to a good spot here now. Good stuff. So with that being said, we start off with the cold lead. We're understanding which cold leads are giving us that energy back, right? Are responding to a question or two, whatever the case may be. Now all of a sudden we know that we're in the game, right? The clock starts. Check me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Come into the ring, right? Whatever analogy you want here. The time is now. So now these are the conversations we want to double down on, right? Because what's happening a lot of the time is when you're spreading your energy too thin, I'm not talking about the prospect giving you their energy. When you're spreading your energy too thin across all of your conversations, it's draining you. It's draining you and it's causing you to drop the ball on the ones who matter most. And which are the ones who matter most? I can see the people commenting energy know are the ones who are giving you that energy back, all right? So that's what we really want to focus on and have that understanding as we proceed here. Because a lot of the times you wonder, I'm dropping the ball for this reason, I'm dropping the ball for that reason, I can't figure out why, right? And a lot of the times too, people, one of the least valued assets of entrepreneurs worldwide is that time. is that time. I'm telling you right now, you have to protect yours, right? So I want you to understand that when you're going to these conversations, because or else you're going to drop the ball. And that's why, like I said, this is the prerequisite. I want to make sure you understand that as we go into this, because if you're making these mistakes, it's going to slip up and hurt you, right? So past that, we established that piece. Another piece that people are doing as well, where they're trying to go ahead, and once again, the whole goal of this belief shifting conversations is to get a prospect to the hot spot, right? Get them into the hot seat, get them into where we want to get them to, because they start off cold. The whole goal of these belief shifting conversations is to get them there. And so a lot of people are trying to shift those beliefs, and whether they're doing it subconsciously or not, they're going ahead and coming off too pushy, right? You're coming off too pushy to your leads now. And now these are things that are now discouraging them from ever wanting to continue that conversation. People who are potentially giving you that energy, and now you're scaring them away, right? On top of that, you're even coming off as a know-it-all a lot of the times. I like to say I'm really big on that whole a part of our score framework that we teach inside the OGC. The R there is for return, right? And that's for returning that value, right? You want to be able to return value, but I think that where a lot of people, I'm telling you, at this point, I've reviewed thousands of conversations in Messenger, right? A lot of the places where people drop the ball on the value side and when to give it, they're going ahead and doing it to a point where it makes them come off cocky. Makes them come off as somebody who, like I said before, is a know-it-all. And that really isn't what we want to do. We want to make it so that it feels very smooth, right? It's a smooth transition. Because right now they're giving us the energy. We want to protect that. At the end of the day, this is a sensitive time in the conversation, whether you believe it or not, or whether you accept it or not. So I want to help you move through that with grace, right? That's the whole goal right here today. So really, and then on top of that too, what I see as well is folks just really self-diagnosing somebody on their own. And this is something where I want you to keep in mind too, because a lot of people do it, especially on the sales call side. And this is where, like I said, where I wanted to make sure we have that distinction of a sales conversation on the phone and on Messenger, right? Because if we're talking on the phone, especially, the self-diagnosing, it is an all-time max. Is an all-time max. And personally, I think it's because people don't like silence. I want to leave a little silence there so you know that I can take it, right? People don't like silence. So what happens when you're on a sales call, when you're on something, potentially this could be you even in your conversations, right? You're going about them, and really what you're doing is you're trying to fill in those gaps. You're trying to fill in that silence, and sometimes you just need to sit with it. Because what happens is when you go ahead and you fill in, you start making assumptions. When you start making assumptions, that's a dangerous game and a slippery slope to make. And I'll tell you for multiple reasons. Number one, because you are now potentially really messing up and missing gems that a prospect can give you in a conversation. By you going ahead and stepping on their toes almost in a conversation there, now all of a sudden, you may have missed something so valuable there that they could have brought up themselves. I was going over a conversation with somebody yesterday on a mentorship call, and we were talking about how sometimes I love to ask questions in conversations, but sometimes I will intentionally make a statement and not say anything after. Because I want to see what they have to say about it. I want to see what they feel about it. Even potentially get them to ask me a question about that back, right? It's all about knowing how to keep that balance. And like I say all the time, you got to sharpen that steel. And the best way to do this and really take what I'm telling you and soak it in is to get out there and do it, right? So really that's why I want to pass off these solutions too as we go on here, but talk about and really highlight some of the areas where you may potentially fall into this trap right now, where you kind of keep on touching on the wrong areas and really putting yourself in unfortunate situations over and over again without really knowing it, right? So let me know if you guys are getting some value from this right now before we proceed. I want to really make sure that you're understanding some of the things that I want you to stay clear of, right? Because like I said, the whole reason I'm bringing this up right now is because I want you to stop dropping the ball. And I don't say this may be you, this may not be you, right? And if it hits you a little bit, like that's a good thing in reality, right? Because honestly, I still drop conversations today. No one's perfect. But I think really at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you understand where they're at and don't make assumptions, right? Ask the right questions. Come off the right way. Don't come off pushy. Don't come off as a know-it-all there, right? Right, drop me a value in the comments right now if you guys are getting some value right now. I know that you guys I'm loving the likes and the loves I'm seeing pop through. You guys are killing it for them right now, seriously. I see everyone saying, let them seek you as if they're missing out on something. That even, you're like touching on some other areas there too, Edwin. The power of detaching, I talk about it all the time. And I think that the whole power of detaching comes with that silence, right? It comes with that silence of maybe not going ahead and following up with someone immediately, right? Maybe not, maybe just detaching and just saying, hey, you know what? Feel free to reach back out if you need some help. Like I'm not going to come and chase you. Let's leave this there. I can't tell you. I got a client, Ryan. He's done that so many times. It's worked out so well for him, right? Because it's that silence, that detach, right? It's like we don't need to come off so thirsty. And when you do, it's just pushing them away, right? Almost just as bad as that, like I said, come off as a know-it-all and just really, it forces you to drop the ball without even, unintentionally we're doing that there, right? So I love it. I'm seeing the values popping up. I love that we're on the same side. So now that we're starting to understand, and like I said, I'll definitely open up some Q&A if you guys have any direct questions on this, but hopefully I want to do that after because I want to give you some solutions. I want to give you some ideas on how we can go ahead and move past that, right? Not come off with the issue there, right? Not come off so pushy in that sense. So let's just go ahead and kick it off. Number one, I think is one of the biggest pieces that people overlook is the big R. Is the big R. And maybe it's the little R because not many people talk about it. Resonate. I think that a lot of the times when I see messenger conversations, you think so many times too about, in your mind, you have a goal you want to get them to. A lot of times you probably hear me talk about the straight line, right? You're starting at the start line, you want to get them to the finish line. Maybe the finish line, and to me, I call that the execute. Sometimes the finish line could be the sale. Sometimes it could just be booking a call, getting them to the sales page, getting them to see a webinar, getting them, whatever it may be. That execute, right? And so a lot of the times when we're trying to get them to that finish line, we really overlook resonating with the lead there, with the prospect. And what that does is, once again, it comes off as pushy yet again, right? So many times they'll tell you something, give you some great information, tell you something, open up, show you that energy, reciprocating it, and then all of a sudden you go ahead now and just move right down the line, right? You're like, all right, next question. I got a script, I'm following it. Resonate. Resonating is a powerful piece there, and if you understand how to resonate in your conversations, that right there will improve your conversations by about 50-fold right there. I'm telling you on its own, right? So in reality, get that down on that side. It's extremely powerful there, right? So now, and then even past that, once you start to resonate, this is something that we really teach heavily inside of our simplified conversion formula, is really you want to drop that undercover value, right? That undercover value, because this is what's going to come off now. It really is it's almost like a backhanded compliment in a way, right? It's not, I think a backhanded compliment is negative, but in a way where really you're just coming off very smoothly, resonating with them, tying some value to it, and proceeding through the conversation, right? This is going to be way more effective than going ahead and just trying to come off and just really spew off value to someone quickly, right? Drop that undercover value tied with a resonating statement, and then can proceed and then continue with that conversation there. That right there will be huge on that side. Comment resonate if you guys understand in there, right? Comment resonate there for me. Really, that is a crucial piece. I'm telling you right now, if you at least add just resonate with your prospects when you're in the conversation with them, instead of just looking, so many times we're looking for, what's that next question should I ask? I don't even know what to say, because on my mind, all I'm thinking about is the sale. And with that, just like we talked about earlier, detaching will be powerful, right? And really a great way to start detaching is resonate. Resonate with their situation. Resonate with what they are telling you, and stop overlooking the gems. And like I say all the time to my clients, the ammunition that is being dropped on your doorstep, right? It's ringing the bell. There we go. I love that. Big R now, right? Let's put the capital on that resonate here, right? Really get that dialed in. That will take you so much further in conversations there. Right? Let the value build trust, and then advance that conversation. Right? I say it all the time. People want to work with an expert. People want to work with someone who's enthusiastic. People want to work with someone who's sharp as a tack. Right? Someone who's sharp as a tack isn't pushy, because that's not sharp as a tack. That's not that's not what a sharp fella would do, or a sharp lady would do there, right? It's going to be very smooth there. And how do you make it smooth? You resonate. You continue that conversation. You keep that dialogue open. You don't just make it a one-man show. That's where I say all the time. I've done lives about this in the past. How I think that coaching mode can be really good in a sales conversation, but to a certain extent. Don't bully the conversation, right? This is a two-way street here. Let both drivers get space in the intersection. Come on now. And now I want to hit you with something else that's to me is extremely powerful. And really this is going to tie into, because I'm about to hit you with a big one right after I say this right now. It ties right into it. So stick with me here. Childlike curiosity. This is where a lot of the times when it comes to questions, and I'm going to give you something right after this, going to be very powerful to help you bring this to light here. But I want you to have childlike curiosity inside of your sales conversations. Why do I say that? Because a lot of the times we're so focused on the sale, so focused on moving through the conversation to get where we want it to get to, right? And a lot of the times we focus on us, nothing good's going to happen, right? We have to think both sides of the table here. So with that being said, have that childlike curiosity in your conversations. What do I mean by that? Think about a child. They're asking questions about everything. I think about this all the time when not all the time's a stretch, but whenever I'm thinking about this kind of topic here, I remember when my daughter was about a year old. We're maybe a year to 2 years old. We're in the car. I turn on the windshield wipers. She's like, "What's that? What's that, Daddy?" "It's the windshield wipers." "Why'd you turn it on?" "So it can clear the water." "Why? Why'd you do this?" Why? It's like, right? They're just asking to get super clear on what the issues are. What they want to get super clear on what the problem is. And I want you to get that in your conversations, right? And there's a way to do that. And for me, I think that especially in a phone call situation, this is even easier. In a messenger conversation, though, don't get it twisted. This is still extremely applicable. I love that there. Stuart saying so much value. Come on now. I got you, my man. Hey, drop a value if you're feeling like Stuart here. You guys getting some value with this, right? Right? Drop a value or drop a childlike curiosity, whatever. And hit that like button while you're at it too. Really, I want you to think about that as we proceed to what I'm about to tell you right now, right after this here. Because that is I really think that when I first thought about it that way, it really opened my eyes to think, all right, can I dig deeper? How can I dig deeper? Right? I'm going to give you some ideas about how we can take that to the next step as well here. But such a powerful piece. I'm telling you, you have to get that dialed in there to really help you on that side. Right? I'm seeing the values flowing through. I'm telling you, I love that. I'm glad this is hitting home for you guys right now. Really, it's more than the sales, the relationship you're building that comes a long way, which is much more. I love that there, Edwin. Come on now, Edwin. You're dropping bombs on us now. I love it, man. Come on. So what I want to speak to you guys right now here is piercing questions, right? Have you guys heard me speak about piercing questions in the past? Let me know if you guys are new to me bringing this up. I've definitely brought this up in the past year, but if not, I want to make sure that you guys see where you guys are at in the scale there. So let me know in the comments, have you heard me talk about piercing questions before? This is a powerful piece as well. And like I said, this really ties to that childlike curiosity. This really ties to how to go ahead and advance these sales conversations without having to come off so pushy. And like I talk about all the time, giving you that ammunition to proceed. So many times I talk about this too when it comes down to making offers based on conversations. When it comes down to really having a full picture, so many marketers, so many salesmen, they overlook it. They overlook it there. And it's almost like, I don't like the words or the term maybe amateur salesman, because at the end of the day, that's like it's such a vague label, I guess. But at the end of the day here, it's such a powerful piece. I'm saying I can guess, but haven't heard of it yet. Well, let's go ahead and get some clarity on that. So really, I want to say that by giving you an example right here, right? Because I think that's one of the best ways. Because really, we can elaborate on this further, but by starting with an example, it's gonna be a very powerful way, I think, to help get you to open up. Or help get you to understand where I'm coming from here. So, piercing questions. Here's an example of one. Here's an example of a situation. And then we'll open up to that. I can see Adams has never heard of it either. Gotcha. Not a problem at all. We'll go ahead and break this down right now. So really, imagine someone says, getting leads really, I'm having a problem getting leads, right? Maybe someone comes to me, they're in a conversation right now, they're saying, I'm having a problem getting leads. If you're in the relationship niche, I'm having a problem getting first dates. I'm having a problem with something very high level, right? How can we go ahead, that right there, let's go ahead and acknowledge this right now. That is a surface level problem, right? I'm having trouble getting leads. That's a surface level issue. There's something underlying that, right? There's no way that that's the only issue. That's too high level. And like I said, what would your child like do, right? What would the child version of yourself do? You wouldn't. That's not a good enough answer there. Why? Just like my daughter in the car there. Why can't you get enough leads, right? Let's dive deeper, right? And like I said before, you can't help someone if you don't understand where they truly are. So that's where I want you to start going into your conversations thinking this way. You can't truly help someone if you don't know where they are. To me, these are facts, or else you're just assuming, right? And you know the phrase goes when you start assuming things here, right? So really, you need to start getting better at asking questions that help dive deeper into the problem. How do we go ahead and take what they just mentioned and take that to the next level, right? The beauty is behind that surface level response they gave you, the whole I'm having a problem getting leads, right? Behind that whole surface level answer they just gave you are entire conversations. That's the beauty I want to open your eyes up to right now, is that in reality, a lot of people hear that, it's like, okay, I got a solution for you. And then they just move on. Just take a step back. Take a step back there and really understand how powerful that can be if you understand how we can get that going deeper. So I'm going to tell you some specific examples of how I would respond to that. But even before I do, drop in the comment, let me know if you can think of one, right? If somebody says, I'm having a problem getting leads, how do we go ahead and get them to open up? What's one question you can say back to that, right? Because that's what I want us to really start thinking of. That's what these piercing questions are. What's a question we can ask? A simple question. I'll give you a hint to the questions that I have in mind here. These piercing questions that come to my mind now that really can help you to advance that conversation, right? It get them to dive deeper on that problem, right? I'll give you a second to write that in there. Let's see if we can at least get one or two. What's a good question that you would ask somebody back if they told you, hey, I'm having problems getting leads, right? Drop a question there. I want to see what you guys got. I'm seeing more and more people jumping on. I love it. Come on, let's keep this community rocking over here, right? So for those just hopping on there, we're talking piercing questions. You may have missed some previous gems, but you'll have to catch up and watch it later, right? So really, I want to see at least. I see we got one in there. Who else is going to be brave with Edwin? Come on now, Edwin can't be the only brave soul here. Give me one thing. There we go. I see another one. Perfect. Right. So the question was, and I'll let you guys keep dropping them if you want. But really, how can we go ahead and ask somebody to get deeper, get past that surface level? Somebody's having problems making sales, getting leads. They say that's their problem. That's a surface level issue. We need to dive deeper. So I'm going to go ahead and review these right now. So I'm seeing, who's your ideal client? That's really good right there. I actually like that one, right? So to me, that actually is a question I probably would ask just after. Personally, I think that's actually a pretty good response, but I'm going to show you something that really will help you even before you can ask that question. Because now, I really love that you show some love to Edwin there. I love that you brought that up, because to me, we have a drip method I teach inside of the OGC as well here, and that really follows that path that much smoother there. So great stuff on that side. I see Julio and Ryan are joining us live. Great to see y'all. Adam, what are you using for lead generation? Ooh, I like that. I like that there. So that's actually a good one too. Part of me is thinking similar, that really that is also a second question, just like Edwin. So two great questions there. Give some cheers. I see someone liked Edwin's comment there. Same for Adam. Those are great questions that I would take actually in the next step. That's the beautiful part, that both of you are already thinking like that. So now I want to help give you some fuel to get to the questions right before that. Because now you're already thinking about the next one. And this is why I'm really big too on, especially if you're on a call, writing notes when you're on the call there. Like the fact that Edwin and Adam are thinking about this right now. Who's your ideal client? What are you using for lead generation? These are great questions now to have as you proceed in the conversation, right? So awesome stuff there. So now I want to tell you some really easy ones that you can ask here, right? This is what I mean when I say the piercing questions, and you're going to see what I mean with the simplicity of it, right? So somebody says, I'm having trouble getting leads. Are you having trouble with your current leads? Are you having trouble getting leads? How does it feel that you're not getting leads right now? Right? These are questions that really allow us to harp on that original problem. Right? Hopefully you can see the difference a little bit between the questions that Adam and Edwin brought up there. The questions that they brought up are going to allow for a whole nother series of questions and conversations, like I mentioned. But even as you can see by me bringing up a small question like that, right? Are you having trouble with current leads? Now all of a sudden they're opening up on that. And maybe you're thinking right now, oh, well, you know what? They're probably just going to say, yes, I am having trouble with current leads. Okay, well, now ask another Pearson question on that. We're still on that same topic, right? But here's the thing that you may not be thinking. If I just say, is with current leads? Are you having trouble with current leads? Now they could be saying, they could also go so deep, right? So don't take what I'm saying there and just assume that it's just a yes, no question. My goal always is I want to make as little multiple choice questions as possible. Even one option multiple choice, right? And that's where the whole assumption piece comes in, that people drop the ball in a lot on that side. Right? Where they're thinking, you know what, they're saying that you're having a problem with getting leads. Okay, like, so you're probably struggling with your Facebook strategy, right? I'm assuming now. That's where I want to get you guys to open up and really hit on what they're saying there, right? Hit on that side there, right? Comment makes sense right now if this is making sense here. I'm seeing, I love that. Stuart's already leading the race saying it makes sense there. Perfect, right? Really think about questions like that there, right? Someone says, I'm struggling with getting leads. Are you struggling with your current leads? Are you struggling and then another simple Pearson question as well. How does that make you feel that you're struggling with getting leads? Right? Just like I mentioned before. Are you struggling with getting leads to show up to calls? Are you struggling to talk to leads? Hopefully you can see how these questions really harp on the same topic, right? I'm not going ahead and progressing. That's the problem where a lot of people are progressing onto a whole nother conversation, right? A whole nother topic. Sit here and marinate in the good stuff, right? Sit here and marinate in the, like I mentioned before, I tell my clients, the ammunition. Sit here and marinate in the ammunition they're giving you, right? Don't just be so quick to move past it. Get comfortable in that silence, right? It might lead to some silence when you ask a question like that, but once they open up, and that's what we're looking for. If you built that trust and authority leading up to this point, that's what we're looking for, right? So I can tell, I'm seeing a bunch of make sense, thumbs up. I love it there. Keep on hitting that like and heart button too if this is all making sense. You guys are crushing out there for me. Come on now. And really, like I mentioned too, another tip on top of that is, because really, like after this, if you take nothing else from this today, that Pearson questions, I'm telling you, will be a game changer in your business, right? But really, like I mentioned before, open-ended questions are key. As you can tell with those questions I'm bringing up, right? It's kind of like the questions that some people brought up earlier are a bit more like there's only a couple answers. I want to make it so that they can go off on a tangent with whatever it is, because it's like, ooh, how does that make me feel? Oh my goodness, it's all over the place. I'm talking all the time, and now I'm at the dinner table, and my wife is yelling at me because I'm always on my phone. I'm just trying to get leads going, but I have trouble talking to them, and it can just open up a whole whirlwind. That's just what I'm thinking. In reality, it could be a whole nother thousands of other possibilities, scenarios going through, right? Don't assume. A lot of the times what we assume is based off of our own experience, right? We'd have no idea what's gotten them to this point in their journey. No idea, right? For me, I did some stuff on YouTube. I tried TikTok a little before I really got the ball rolling on my Facebook strategy that got me where I am today. That's just my story. Well, some people are doing blogging. Some people are doing Pinterest. Some people are spending money on ads, right? There's a whole bunch of other places people can come from, and a whole ton of scenarios, challenges, and issues that can come from that. So let them go ahead and share that side there. I'm loving that you guys are hitting the make sense. That means we're all on the same page here. Come on now. So really, and I will tell you this as well, what's tied to that. This is a gem here. I'm telling you. This is a gem that a lot of people overlook. And for the ones who understand this, and I'm sharing this with you right now, what I'm about to say, because once you start to realize and understand this, I've given you a few things that I feel like are similar, just like this here. Once you start to let this sit with you, it's kind of like the childlike curiosity piece. Once you understand this statement, this principle, this will allow you to move forward differently, right? And the statement is this. You're like, Justice, just shut up and get to it, right? The statement is this. People will tell you how they want to be sold. People will tell you how they want to be sold. Let that sink in for a sec. And I can elaborate on that too. But in reality, think about this. Like I said, we all came from a different path. What on their path was, once again, this is Everything I'm teaching you is in sync here. It's like you can't be skipping. You can't just like drip a couple of these solutions I'm giving you and then call it a day. Like you really have to get this whole process dialed in and believe and understand the whole kind of mentality we have here on this side here. Because when you dial this whole thing as a complete package, this is when stuff starts dropping. This is when success starts happening from conversations, and you're able to start closing deals left and right in your business, right? So really, like I said, the moneymaker statement here, people will tell you how they want to be sold. What do I mean by that? I just told you before that there's different scenarios that people will come. How are you going to find out most likely about these scenarios? By getting good at asking piercing questions, asking open-ended questions, not asking these multiple choice questions here that really are just allowing for specific answers, right? Like the last thing I want to do is ask somebody a yes/no question, because now we're right back to where I started, and now it's like, shoot, I got to think of something else to ask. It's like, I want to get more ammunition on that, more ammunition there, right? So when people are going through these you're going through these conversations, listening to their scenarios, listening to what they've gone through, ask them questions and see, we get to now find out what was it they didn't like, right? What was it they didn't like? How do they learn best, right? They're going to go ahead and start to tell us these certain pieces here with what they didn't like in their past programs, what they didn't like from the past course, with what's been struggling so far, what they feel like they've been missing. When they tell you what they feel like they've been missing, I shouldn't be telling as much as I'm telling right now. This is so much ammunition for what you have here. And this is why, like I'm saying, you can't get to the point in the conversation where you have all of this unless you get good at really progressing the conversation, understanding how to go ahead and have belief shifting conversations, right? This is the stuff that really takes you to the next level here. I'm telling you, I'm seeing the values roll through there. Thank you for the hashtag value, Ryan. Keep dropping the hashtag value if this is all making sense to everybody there. I'm seeing massive value. That's what I'm talking about here. Really, this is going to change you so much in your business when you can start dialing this stuff in. That's what I say. And a lot of the times too, a lot of it just comes from the fact that we are so uncomfortable with silence. That's why whenever I say silence, I try to leave a little bit so you can see that it's okay, right? Live in the silence. The silence is where, I was always going to say the silence is where the money's made. I don't know how true that is, but in general, like this, insert this to your process. Be okay with the silence here. I see May says, I'm taking notes. Come on now. Like this stuff, I want this to really hit home for you here on this side here. So I'm telling you, and really when it comes down to that, like I said, when you're using that ammunition, give them a taste of what they could expect as you're breaking down your offer, right? This is another big piece that people overlook. Show them. I met so many times people presenting offers. You know what's going on in the other person's mind, especially if you're on the phone or even in Messenger, right? You're presenting an offer. You know what's happening on the other side by the recipient there? They're calling BS, right? I don't like to swear, but I'm gonna swear right now real quick. They're calling bullshit, right? At the end of the day, that is what half the people are thinking. So you gotta show people, right? It's one thing to say it, you gotta show it. There's so many ways you can do that. Screen sharing, whatever the case. If you're on Zoom, I say screen sharing. Really, you gotta show people. You gotta show people to really get them going, right? Get them bought into their own self-persuasion. Because you're dialing this in based on what they've already told you there. I love keep on hitting that like and love button there. I'm loving that you guys are getting value from this. Crucial there. And last bit, I'm gonna give you two other big pieces here, and I'll open up to Q&A as well. Number one, prioritize time to review your conversations. That's one of the biggest places. One of my first mentors told me, especially when it comes to sales calls, one of the best mentors you can have is yourself going back and watching your own sales conversations. Whether that's on a sales call, whether that's in Messenger. Go back, and I want you to think about these three questions. These three questions here. I wasn't even going to tell you guys these three, but I'm feeling generous right now. You're catching me on a good time right here, I'm telling you. Let me comment 3 questions if you want me to tell the 3 questions that you need to ask yourself. Right? Just comment 3. I'm cool with the number 3 there. What are the 3 questions you need to ask yourself when it comes to, because like I said, you have to start, if you're not putting this into your day, scheduling this into your week, like at least once a month, like at least once a quarter. Like for me, it's a weekly thing, right? So I want to tell you these 3 questions are that you should be asking yourself when you go back, right? When you go back and review these conversations, what are you looking for? What are you looking for there, right? I'm seeing plenty of 3s popping up, so it sounds like you guys are interested, right? So the 3 questions to ask yourself. Number 1, what went right during the conversation, and say 1 to 3 things that went right during that conversation, right? That's number 1. Number 2, what did I learn? What did I learn there, right? 1 to 3 things, right? 1 to 3 things. What did I learn? Then lastly, what's one thing I can do better? I want you to go back when you take the time, because like I said, you really should start thinking about going back and scheduling time. It can be 10 minutes, 30 minutes. I'd say an hour is optimal. An hour is realistically 1 hour per week will change your business if you take this one tip. I've already told you, like, if you take one thing from this, but there's a lot of one things as you can see on this call, this live stream here today, right? If you can take one thing from me, start asking those and block out time to do that there, right? And really think about how, when you think about that, what's that one thing I can do better? What can I do to implement into my future conversations, right? Like I say, you're gonna be some of your best teachers going back on your old stuff there. And the last one, I told you there's 2. I kind of gave you more than I was expecting there, but I'm sure you don't mind on that side, right? Is I'm gonna call it this, WWMD, right? And this is, I say MD. Now, what the heck does that stand for, right? This isn't WWJD, right? WWMD. What? And maybe it really should be WWMS. That's what I'm gonna say. WWMS. What would my mentor say, right? And really, you can picture that as whoever that salesperson that you look up to. Maybe right now, potentially it's me, right? I'm trying to be humble, so I wasn't gonna say my name, but whoever it may be, right? That's why I said mentors. I kind of fill in the blank there, right? What would my mentor say? Think about that when you're in these conversations instead of like just so quickly, because right now it's gonna take time for you to get unconsciously competent at this stuff, right? So really start thinking about what would that person, what would that expert salesman, what would that expert conversationalist say at this point in the conversation? Instead of just blurting out something, right? Really dial it back. Just like get back in your own zone and think, what would my mentor say, right? So that's the last big piece I want to leave you guys there. I can see keep on. Let me know if you guys are still getting value. Comment value there. I'm definitely down to open it to Q&As. Hit that like and love button. You guys have been awesome here in the crowd. I want to make sure I can go ahead and answer any kind of questions you have there. I know I threw a lot at you here, so maybe it feels like drinking from a fire hose right now. But I'm telling you, for those right now, even if you watch live, I'd highly recommend going back and watching that replay. Soak it in some of this good stuff here, because I'm telling you, there's so much gems here that, and you know, we're big here. I brought my mindset coach on, Patrick, here, I think a month or 2 ago. We talked about the 80-20 rule. 20% of you out there will probably soak this stuff in, 80% of you won't. I want you to try and be in that 20% right now, right? Whether you go back to this and watch the replay or not, like, soak this stuff in and implement it. There's so much good stuff that reality, if you can just kind of drip a couple of them into your strategy over time, it's going to take your business to the next level there, right? So like I said, I want to go ahead. You guys are getting me to spill a lot more than I intended here today. Come on. You guys are giving me some good energy, though. I love the engagement. This is awesome. So I want to make sure I open up for questions, too. Before that, let's make sure I made promises at the beginning. Got to make sure I'm sticking to my word here. So obviously, I have an invitation for you, just like I mentioned before, right? We're talking heavily about the sales conversations here. Maybe even before you get to that sales conversation, haven't struggled with the branding, right? I talked heavily about your authority. You have to really have that authority. And by me, a lot of that comes from brand messaging, right? Your content and even what happened. Like I told you before, what's so much more important a lot of the times before you even get into a sales conversation is what happens before that conversation, right? Having a process before that's going to allow you to now, I always say you'll never have 100% closing rate, but it's all about what can you do to bump that up consistently so that now, instead of closing 1 out of 10 people, it's 5 out of 10. It can be that drastic when you implement the right pieces, right? So whether you're struggling with that authority piece, whether you're struggling to actually start getting qualified leads in your business, because you really need to be having a lot of conversations to practice and sharpen that steel. So if you're not getting qualified leads in your business every day, that's another big thing you want to really dial in on. And then, of course, like we talked about today, maybe even just on this conversation side, really just feel like you need to help take it to this next level and really implementing this, right? So if you're a coach, a business owner, an entrepreneur, an affiliate, really, and you honestly want to build a successful business online, we do this right here through our Facebook profiles, and that's where I've been able to focus for myself and my clients. So if you guys need help with that and want some help on that side, type growth in the comments, and I'll make sure that myself, I'll either reach out directly, or at the very least, one of our group specialists here will reach out. We'll go ahead, we'll see if it's a good fit. If it's not a good fit, we'll let you know and we'll get you over to somebody else, right? We're not here to waste your time. At the end of the day, for running my business through Facebook and what I'd be able to help people on that side as well, it's truly been a life changer, and it's been amazing what's come from it. So I want to go ahead and make sure I extend the opportunity, like I mentioned to you guys there. I thought I was going to go into other larger platforms, but when it comes down to it, you want the speed, right? You want to be able to jump in, take action, and make things happen on that side there. Right, so if you guys want us to reach out, comment growth there in the comments. Like I said, we'll reach out, build a game plan together, and really kind of see what problems you're facing, right? See what problems you're facing and what we can do to get you past that there. So that being said, like I said, comment growth there, and we'll go ahead and take care of you. But with that being said, now let's go ahead and clock back in here, answer any questions you got. And I want to go ahead and make sure I get you covered there. So any questions you guys have, drop them down below. Otherwise, I got like 5 minutes left here. So let me know. I want to make sure I get anything answered on your side there if you have them. But really, while I'm waiting for some questions to come in, if they do, if not, maybe all this made sense. I'm not mad at that, right? So at the end of the day, dial this stuff in here. Remember what I mentioned for those of you who came in a little bit later and maybe you missed some of the stuff in the beginning, some of the what not to do, right? A lot of the stuff I told you is extremely powerful when it comes down to what to do, right? How to take that next step the right way. How to go ahead and progress and really make that happen and get your conversation going correctly. What you want to stay away from, keep this in mind. And really, even if the bare minimum thing about this as you're proceeding, you don't want to come off pushy. You don't want to come off like a know-it-all. You don't want to come off as that person who's just diagnosing somebody, really intensely diagnosing somebody and making assumptions, right? Because when you do that, you end up dropping the ball. And what I want you to do is start understanding how you can go ahead and give your energy to the folks who are giving you energy, because they are the ones who need it, man. Come on now, right? And in reality, stop dropping the ball with the ones who are giving you that energy, right? So definitely go back and begin if you missed that too. So I see Cosman said, I missed almost everything. You missed out on a good one here, man. But luckily, we're going to have the replay available for you guys. We can obviously hook you up after. But good stuff. I'm not seeing any questions popping up right now. Like I said, I'm sure there's a lot that I gave you, so you're like, and hopefully I just answered a lot of them. That's why I like to kind of go ahead and start and really set these up the way that I do, right? Talk about some things that you may be doing wrong in your business. Highlight those so you can let that sit, let that sink in. And then from there, solutions, right? But as we talked about, there's still so much deeper than if you really want to get this going. But at least have this on the conversation side. I want to leave you guys with some ammo. So with that being said, I think we're coming up on the top of the hour. Not seeing any questions yet. I see Cosman saying for the replay. Definitely go ahead. We'll give you the replay too. One last time, let me know if you guys got some value from this. I want to make sure we do these every single Wednesday, right? Every single Wednesday. So I hope I see you on the next one, where we're dropping value. And even in the group, we're always looking to see where you guys are struggling, where you need the most help, so we can prioritize and make sure we get you going. So thank you for being here today. I'll see you on the next one. Like I said, let me know if you guys got that value. Keep on hitting that like and love button. You guys are amazing. Great engagement today, and I will see you. I'll see you next Wednesday, and inside the group in between. so good stuff, and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Hey, thanks for watching this video all the way through. Make sure you go ahead and like this if you got a ton of value from, which I hope you did. Subscribe to the channel, and absolutely go ahead and join us in our Original Chapters community. Links right down there in the description. And as always, you are designed to become who you choose to be. I'll see you later.